Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the March 9th, 2026 Stillwater City Council meeting. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask everyone to join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have several groups joining us tonight for proclamations and presentations. First up is the Stillwater Police Department Citizen Academy, and I think Don Dotson's going to introduce that.
At this time, we're going to call up Chief Hassig and Lieutenant Lau, who lead this program for us every year, and then they can share more about the Citizens Academy.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, Councilors, City Manager Moore. Just wanted to take this opportunity and give a few heartfelt thanks. First and foremost to the citizens that are here with us today that just completed 6+ weeks of the 11th iteration of our Citizens Academy. They did an outstanding job listening and partaking, practicing their skills, what it takes to be a Stillwater police officer. They learned from captains, lieutenants, sergeants, officers alike, learned about officer-involved shootings, the organizational chart, the history of Stillwater, as well as having a little bit of fun going out to the range and learning about building searches, traffic stops, dealing with individuals that may be in mental health crisis. They may have shot a few rounds as well with our firearms instructors. But all in all, I heard it was an outstanding time, and I just want to give thanks to them. But also, I'd be remiss if I did not say thank you to Lieutenant Lau, Lieutenant Gripe, and the rest of the Stillwater Police Department that helped teach them and really build the gaps, bridge the gaps that are here within the community. So I want to say thank you to them and thank you to our citizens.
That's in there.
Okay, right here, and then we're going to... Hold on a sec.
Good morning.
Sorry?
From the other morning, doing the interview?
No, I won't be there tomorrow morning.
No, the one we did last week.
Oh, yes.
We'll give them just a moment to clear out. Next, we have a proclamation for Sunshine Week. I'll read the proclamation, and then Gladine and Carol, if you want to come up and say a few words, we'd love for that. So, whereas James Madison, the father of our federal Constitution, wrote that consent of the governed requires that the people be able to arm themselves with the power which knowledge gives. And whereas every citizen in our participatory democracy has an inherent right to access government meetings and public records, and whereas an open and accessible government is vital to establishing and maintaining the people's trust and confidence in their government and in the government's ability to effectively serve its citizens. And whereas the protection of every person's right to access to public records and government meetings is a priority of the Stillwater City Council. And whereas the Stillwater City Council is committed to openness and transparency in all aspects of its operations and sets a high standard in this regard. Whereas the Stillwater City Council commits to observing Sunshine Week, the anniversary of James Madison's birth, and will work throughout the year to enhance public's access to government records and information, increase information provided electronically and online, and ensure that all meetings of deliberative bodies under its jurisdiction are noticed and open to the public. Now, therefore, I, Amy Jaloski, Vice Mayor of Stillwater, Oklahoma, do hereby proclaim the week of March 15th through the 21st, 2026, as Sunshine Week in Stillwater.
I'm Carol Anderson. This is Gladine, and we're representing the Stillwater League of Women Voters. And each year we do promote Sunshine Week, which is in the proclamation. It says it is the week anniversary, and which includes the anniversary of James Madison's birth, which was in 1751. So it's been a while. He was the 4th president, and he was called the father of the Constitution. So he's a really important person. But what we're really commemorating are the 2 laws. One federal, Freedom of Information Act, which was first signed by Lyndon Johnson in 1966. It was amended after Watergate in 1974, and then realistically amended again in 1996 because of the computers and electronic records, which obviously changed a lot of things about open records. Oklahoma was not behind the federal government. They had an Open Meetings Act in 1959. And it was amended in 1977, and in 1985 they added the open records part. So it's our joy and our pleasure to tell to you gentlemen and ladies all about Sunshine Week, and we're so proud and pleased that you have a proclamation.
We're always grateful for you all to come and explain this to the public and remind us and give us our pledges for the week.
What we want to do is remind you. And
it's an important work that you all do to engage our community in this civic way. So thank you for being here.
And may I collect the
And we do have our pledges. Each of the counselors has signed and City Manager Moore has signed our pledge for Sunshine Week. And I'll come take a picture with you.
Oh, who signs it?
It's an honor to introduce our next presenter, Executive Director Rachel Conley with Our Daily Bread. It is we are incredibly grateful to partner with Our Daily Bread and under the leadership of Rachel Conley. So she'll come up and share some great things. Go ahead. Where did it go?
Looks like she's got a check for us.
Click me in, Dawn. There? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for having me today. I love Dawn's reminder email a couple of days ago that I thank you for coming to share your brief comments. I think brief was in all caps and bolded. I'm not sure, but she knows me well, so here we go. we value so much our partnership with you guys at the City of Stillwater. So I would be remiss if I didn't come periodically and tell you to your faces with my face how much you mean to us, a little bit of what we have going on, just a microcosm. So if you want to have coffee later, I would love it. But here's a little update. Maybe. There we go. Okay, so about Our Daily Bread, for those here that might not know, we're modeled like a small grocery store where guests experiencing food insecurity that come to Our Daily Bread are able to self-select groceries for their household, and also to have the opportunity to connect to or be referred to other resources that address the root causes of poverty in our community. Collaboration is a key to every part of our work. There is no reason in our community that anyone should be duplicating services or replicating things that already exist. We have so many excellent partners, and we love to celebrate and highlight them. But when guests come to us in a moment of stress, they're often not able to think 3 steps ahead. So the collaboration piece of our work is really coming alongside partner agencies and also our guests who need some extra help. And I went backwards. But you get to see our shopping floor again, and it's lovely. So our mission at Our Daily Bread is feeding our community collaboratively and providing connections that enable lasting change. So we offer food as an incentive almost to have people come and see us so that we can meet an immediate need, but also build trust in our community to help people in more intentional ways. And that's that enabling lasting change. We believe that we do this by treating everyone that enters our building, whether a guest, a volunteer, or a staff member, with respect and dignity. I'm going to do it every time. Sorry, guys. I'll learn by the end. So who we serve all Payne County residents in every one of these communities, but we do have a serve and refer model. So if anyone comes to receive grocery assistance at Our Daily Bread, they will receive grocery assistance at Our Daily Bread. If they're outside of our defined service area, we try to find a food resource closer to them so they're not wasting resources to get to us, and we're able to make sure they can connect with that resource, knowing days, times, website, phone number, address, things like that. So thanks to our start and our incredible building that you provide to us at a very fair rate of $1 lease for each year, we are able to do some pretty neat things. Not only the service we provide in our building, but also some of our satellite distribution. We now have a brick and mortar marketplace in Ripley, in Cushing, and also at the Lincoln Alternative Academy here in Stillwater for the students of the Alternative Academy. We're also able to go out at least once a week with our mobile market, beating down transportation barriers of people that might need food assistance, but they can't get to any of our brick and mortar locations, and also to get out in different communities and even just neighborhoods in Stillwater and other communities as well, and tell people where we're at and what we do, and build relationships and build up trust where maybe there's some mistrust with people that might want to help them, explain what our service is like, again, so we can help people in more intentional ways. A few of our serving numbers from 2025. At Our Daily Bread in Stillwater, we were able to serve over 16,000 household visits, representing 36,869 individuals. Our satellite sites had over 5,500 household visits. Our mobile markets had almost 2,000 household visits. We provided over 850 emergency bags. Our cosmetologist and barber friends, not me with a Flowbee, these are people that are actually qualified, gave 177 haircuts at no cost, and our resource department fulfilled almost 1,900 resource requests. So Stillwater, other numbers of note that I thought might be interesting to you. The number of items provided, many of you came to our ribbon cutting for our health resource vending machine back in August. We officially opened that to guests in September, and we gave over 1,700 items just in September through December. This is things like a clean new toothbrush, a hairbrush, an emergency blanket, hand warmers, all sizes of diapers, all the way to condoms and STI testing kits. People can access the vending machine 24/7, so we don't monitor that in that way, and the items are always no cost to them. The total number of volunteer hours donated from our community members in 2025 was over 25,000 hours given to us for free to serve people who needed it. We have a retail recovery program where we glean foods from local grocery stores. We have volunteers that pick that up every day. Items that are either surplus inventory or they are past their best by or close to their sell-by dates that we're able to bring back to Our Daily Bread and quickly get into homes. That was almost 500,000 pounds of food in 2025 that we were able to reduce that waste of food that might have gone into landfills and get it to neighbors who needed it in their homes. You are making this possible. Our relationship with the City of Stillwater not only includes our building, which the in-kind donation value that at the latest assessment was almost $160,000 per year, but we also receive consistent assistance from many of your departments with things like lighting in our parking lots so it's safe for our volunteers and guests, clearing ice so we can have shopping sessions even during storms, trash and waste questions and service. God bless Matt. God bless him. He answers my call almost every time, and I really appreciate him. We're also part of the Community Action Response team meetings that are hosted by the City of Stillwater to elevate collaboration among relevant agencies to really better care for residents seeking assistance while also experiencing some mental health challenges. SPD figured out a long time ago that we don't need to be necessarily calling 911 every time somebody's having a rough time and needs some help. So in partnership with Grand Mental Health, we've been able to help people in such more intentional ways. But we come together once a month to plan out those strategies and learn what other tools we have in our tool belt, again, to help people in more intentional ways that need it. And so much more. I really could go on all day. So thank you to everyone at the City of Stillwater for joining us to fight hunger and feed hope. We all signed a little card for you. It says, "We make a great pair." And all of our staff signed it.
Thank you. Rachel, thanks so much for being here. As we approach the anniversary of the wildfires in our community, I think we also owe you a huge debt of gratitude for the work that you did to support the recovery and response effort for that. It's an amazing thing to know that we have someone like you and all of your staff in our community to help us in that time of emergency when what we really needed were just a lot of big hearts and working hands. And just so grateful for your willingness to support and lend all your expertise. You're just so good at connecting people.
Yeah, we were honored to be a part of it. Thank you so much. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you. We'll share that card. We'll wait maybe to pass that around. But this will move us to item number 4 on our agenda, which is the consent docket. Counselors, any discussion or action on the consent docket?
I move approval of consent.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the consent docket. Please vote. Oh.
Hang on. I tried it.
Could the clerk please try the vote by roll call again?
My cold finger didn't work, I guess.
Please vote. Okay, with a vote of 4-0, the consent docket is passed. This brings us to item 7, public hearings. I think we have staff here. The item is to receive public comment regarding a request for map amendment to rezone property addressed at 799 West 12th Avenue from small lot single-family residential, RSS, and agriculture A to commercial general. And we have Henry here at the top.
And Vice Mayor, I'll just note for the record that we do have good notice for this item.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Vice Mayor, councilors. My name is Henry Biebelheimer with Development Services, and tonight we're here to talk about a map amendment, as you just said, for 799 West 12th Avenue. This is to rezone from small lot single-family residential, or RSS, and agriculture, or A, to commercial general, CG. So here's an aerial view of the property, as we can see outlined in pink, where the applicant is proposing to rezone to commercial general or CG because they're proposing to build a YMCA on the site. A YMCA would fall under the use category of recreation. Recreation is not allowed in RSS or A zoning districts, which trigger this rezoning. Recreation is allowed by right in the CG or commercial general zoning district. The applicant is proposing to rezone all of the property in pink, as it would support both their current proposed YMCA structure as well as any proposed future structure. So they're just rezoning it all at once just to cover any future expansion. One note I will make on the property outlined in pink is that the legal description that we sent out did include a paragraph that had some easements that support this property, but is not included on this property. It was not the intent to include that in the rezoning, so that has been removed from the ordinance that's submitted to you tonight, since it was just taking out some of those easements. Where was I going to go with that? Okay, so now we're looking at the street view. This is from 12th Avenue looking south. As you can see, this was after the trees have already been started to be cleared, and since this picture has been taken, earthwork has been started on there, so you can see people out there doing work. And if you zoom in on that sign right there, it does tell you that this is the future location for the proposed YMCA structure, which is what we're looking at tonight. So here's the zoning map on the property. As you can see, it's kind of split into those two portions. The northern portion of this property is that yellow color, which is the RSS, or small lot single family residential, and that southern portion, which is kind of the green flaked, is the A, or agriculture. To the west, we have P, or public, which is for the medical facilities, as well as that O, also for a medical facility to the west. To the north, we have that park as well as the dog park, which is zone P, or public. To the east, we also have some public for the school under remodel, and then as well as some RSS for the residential to the east. Here's the future land use map in the comprehensive plan. As you can see, the structure, the proposed location is gray, which calls for public and civic uses at this location. Now, public and civic uses, as called out in the comprehensive plan, is publicly owned amenities and facilities. Technically, a rezoning to CG or commercial general would not align with that proposed land use. Now, as this YMCA is being built in partnership with the city of Stillwater, and is being built to support the public and health and welfare, the city does believe this specific request does align with the comprehensive plan, even though at first glance it might not appear so. I'm open to answer any questions you might have.
At this time, staff, or I guess council, do we have any questions of staff? I'm assuming there's a representative from the applicant as well. I don't have, at this time I'll open the public hearing, but I don't have anybody scheduled to speak. Was there anybody that was wanting to speak on this topic? Okay. I'll close the public hearing. Council, comments, questions, action?
There was a lot of discussion in the Planning Commission meeting about flooding, and we probably shouldn't pass through this without at least having some conversation about it. Henry, would you mind addressing that issue?
Yes, sir. I could answer any questions you have on the staff side, but I think I'd recommend for flooding issues, the applicant's engineer is here, and they've studied that more than I have.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Good evening, councilors, vice mayor, city manager. Thank you for the time. My name is Austin Burton. I'm civil engineer with Kimley Horn Associates, been hired by the Y, who graciously here tonight as well. Some familiar faces, I'm sure. But just to speak specifically to the floodplain, high level, the entire property that we saw in the previous graphic is within the 100-year floodplain. The southern portion of the property is in the floodway of Stillwater Creek. We're not proposing any development within the floodway, as that's not allowed by city ordinance nor federal law without going through quite significant studies. So that said, to develop in the floodplain per the ordinance, there is a flood study required to demonstrate no upstream or downstream impacts. Certainly the primary concern of the cities, of ours as well, as engineer of record. So that flood study was completed months ago in collaboration with the city as well as the city's consultant, third-party reviewer, WSB. That flood study has been approved. That approval was required to start earthwork on site. So we've been through that process, big picture, what that flood study demonstrated, or rather how we were able to accomplish no upstream or downstream impact with the project. We are not bringing any, the contractor is not bringing any soil onto the property, so it's being entirely sourced from within the property itself. The building, YMCA building, will be raised about 9 feet above existing elevations on the property, which will put it over 2 feet above the 100-year flood elevation. For context, the Total Health building immediately to our west, there along 12th, will be about 1 foot higher than that building with our YMCA building. The dirt to accomplish that fill is coming from a borrow pit on the far south end of the property that is the closest to Stillwater Creek. No modifications to the creek are being performed, so it will continue to flow as it has, continue to flood, unfortunately, as it has. We work closely with city staff and the city manager. We received the photos and video of the recent floods within the last decade and reviewed those and took all that into account, collaborated with the city's third-party engineer. But yeah, all the soils to raise the building are coming from a large borrow pit that will be hydraulically connected. By that I mean there will be a large box culvert from the creek into the borrow pit. So the borrow pit, which will be about 14 feet of cut. So raising the building 9 feet, cutting this borrow pit. So the footprint of the borrow pit is as large as the building and the parking lot that's being proposed. It's a very significant hole in the ground, but it will effectively act as an overflow for the creek. So as the creek begins to rise in a flood event, that borrow pit has now added volume to the creek, if you will. So that offsets the potential impact of raising the building pad to protect the building itself. So the building's protected from flood events with a safety factor of over 2 feet of what we call freeboard, or relative height above the flood. The borrow pit is protecting the surrounding properties. Happy to answer any questions.
Go ahead.
But hypothetically, in a 100-year or greater flood, the water level could come within a couple feet of the building, and the building could be surrounded with water, but we don't expect any intrusion.
That's correct. And that experience that you described is generally what we saw in the videos. I wasn't personally here, but the videos of the 2019, I believe. I apologize, I don't have that year exactly. I know it's obviously bad memories associated for the city, but when you look at those records, those photographs and videos, you see Total Health, Stillwater Medical in that condition. Unfortunately, 12th Street itself is also underwater by several feet at that time. Mm-hmm. So without raising the road, also there's not much that we can do in that sense. Certainly the Y is aware of that as they develop the property of that condition. So wouldn't expect folks to be using the building at that time.
Okay.
So the borrow pit is not intended to be long-term retention of water, is that correct?
That's correct. It will be dry other than in a major flood event. The bottom of the pit will be, I think it's about 3 feet above the bottom of the creek. So water will only intrude into the pit in a large flood event. Otherwise, water will pass through from the site into the pit and into the creek. There's also 2 large channels that strafe each side of the site, 2 large concrete channels that will remain. Majority of the site stormwater will enter those channels directly.
And just to be clear, and I think you made this comment, nothing that you all are doing would make the Stillwater Creek flooding it wouldn't make it any worse than it would be without any of this. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. That's the premise of the flood study and the bar that's set. We're in fact lowering marginally. Mm-hmm. I wish I could say dramatically the 100-year flood elevation. There's a lot of factors that go into that we can't affect with though we're developing 70 acres over the whole watershed of Stillwater Creek, it's relatively small. But yes, that is exactly what we studied.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Councilors, further? Oh.
One more question. I hadn't thought about the borrow pit, but how deep is that? And will it be fenced off and have safety fencing or something around it?
Sure. The borrow pit embankments or side slopes, well, the borrow pit itself will be about 14 feet deep, so it is significant. However, the side slopes will be a maximum of a 3 to 1. Unless we're in city property area, then we're 4 to 1. So it's mowable. That's why we set it at that. So there's not a mandated fall risk. There's no YMCA programming that will be near that borrow pit. There's possibility of future soccer complex. That's where the grading that's under progress right now is to allow for potential soccer complex development. So fencing may be wise at that stage, but not with the YMCA. Building and parking lot will be 500, 600 feet away from the borrow pit at the end of this first phase of the project.
Thank you.
You're going to have a 14-foot pit. I'm assuming there will be fencing anyway to protect.
You also have you can look at the borrow pit that's next door. You have the soccer fields that are back up to the borrow pit, and it's probably a similar slope, Austin.
That's correct. It's certainly,
there's no fence.
You could walk down it without any issue.
All right.
Yeah.
Similar to where maybe you see a highway embankment where it's a vehicle, if went errant, could still recover. So,
All right.
I think it's important to those design elements and things will go through development services for approval to make sure that they're consistent with city code and all of those safety measures. Really here tonight, we're just talking about the rezoning topics. So just to kind of keep us square on what we're working through tonight. Does anybody have any additional questions, Council? Thank you. So action on the item will come in the next.
You may want to hear from staff what Planning Commission's recommendation on the item was. Yep.
Henry, was there a recommendation from Planning Commission?
Yes, ma'am. On February 24th, 2026, with a vote of 4-1, Planning Commission recommended that the City Council approve the map amendment as presented.
Vice Mayor, you can entertain a motion on that action item. It's just whatever action the council does take. If it is approved, then it is, we will first read the ordinance as well.
Okay. Is there any motion from council related to Planning Commission's recommendation?
Motion to accept Planning Commission recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept Planning Commission's recommendation. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, we have approved that Planning Commission's recommendation, and that moves us to item number 8, which is ordinances, and ordinances on first read relate to this property. So ordinance number 3598, an ordinance rezoning a tract of land located at 799 West 12th Avenue from small lot single-family residential, RSS, and agriculture to commercial, CG. Councilors.
Motion to advance ordinance 3598.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, that ordinance is advanced to second read. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. On second read, we have ordinance number 3593, an ordinance amending the Stillwater City Code by amending Chapter 29, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Article 1 in general, by creating Section 29-18, prohibition on the use of dynamic braking devices, repealing all ordinances to the contrary, and providing for severability. Councilors.
I move adoption of ordinance 3593.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, that ordinance is adopted. That moves us to item number 9, reports from officers and boards. City Attorney.
Request for an executive session pursuant to 25 OS Section 307B4 for the purpose of confidential communications between the City Council and its attorney concerning all aspects of a pending investigation, claim, or action involving Payne County Rural Water District Number 3. It is the opinion of the City Attorney that disclosure of this matter will seriously impair the ability of the City to process the claim or conduct a pending investigation, litigation, or proceeding in the public interest.
So I think what we'd like to do is move to make a motion to recess at this time to move into executive session, come back and finish the council meeting and move into SUA because some of the items on SUA are related to executive session. So is there a motion to recess the city council meeting?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. We have to make a motion to enter executive session also. Yes. Is there a motion to enter executive session?
Motion to enter executive session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to enter executive session. Please vote. All right, at this time, we'll go and enter into executive session. Is there a motion to reconvene the Stillwater City Council meeting?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to reconvene. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, we are reconvened. Is there any action from executive session?
Recommend a motion to authorize the city attorney or outside counsel to file suit or take any other action deemed necessary and appropriate by council to resolve the outstanding utility account balance of Payne County Rural Water District Number 3.
Councilors, any motions?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, that action is approved. We're going to go back up and finish our announcements and reports. Mr. Moore.
Yes, thank you. Got a couple. Tax season is here, and we have a great resource at Stillwater Public Library. They are offering tax preparation assistance through AARP. Appointments are available now through April 7th. You can schedule online at stillwaterok.gov/library taxes or visit the library at 1107 South Duck Street. It's a great service that they provide every year, and we're grateful for that. I'm excited to share that this Sunday I was honored to be able to, or yesterday, deliver a proclamation from Mayor Joyce on behalf of the city of Stillwater to Reverend Calvin Miller. They were celebrating 25 years at the pastoring Mount Zion's Baptist Church, so I got to go and worship with them and present that in front of the congregation, and they were really excited and applauded Reverend Miller. And I'll just read one line from the proclamation. It was, whereas Mayor Joyce is recognizing Reverend Miller's deep commitment to faith, compassion, service, strengthening families, and inspiring hope throughout the Stillwater community. So we're grateful for his leadership and other faith leaders in our community.
Very cool. Councilor Hawkins.
I will say Calvin Miller and Dee Miller were my FCA directors in Woodward, Oklahoma when I was in junior high. So they are fabulous.
Yep.
So mark your calendars for Stillwater's annual Trash Off Community Cleanup on Saturday, March 28th from 9 a.m. to noon. This is a great opportunity for volunteers of all ages to help keep our community clean. We'll provide gloves, safety vests, and trash bags. An award will also be presented to the group that collects the most trash. I think there's still discussion on what that award is exactly. If you or your organization would like to participate, please RSVP by March 25th. Go to stillwaterok.gov/trash off to register online. We look forward to seeing you there.
Councilor Clark.
Watershed Quality Division is hosting its annual rain barrel event, offering residents the opportunity to purchase rain barrels to conserve water and reduce stormwater runoff. Rain barrels collect water from your roof that can later be used for lawns and gardens, and is a way to support conservation efforts at home. Orders must be submitted online by April 26. For more information, go to stillwaterok.gov/rain barrel, and don't forget to think about what happens when your barrel overflows, because it will.
Councilor Harden.
With the arrival of wildfire season, we want to remind residents that weather conditions in Oklahoma can change quickly, no kidding, and increase fire danger. High wind gusts, low humidity, and elevated temperatures can all contribute to rapid fire spread. Before conducting a controlled burn, please contact the Stillwater Fire Department. This can help prevent unintended wildfires. For safety information, follow Stillwater Fire Department on Facebook and Instagram at STW Fire. While you're getting connected to important information, please make sure you are signed up to receive notifications on emergencies, watches, and warnings. You can sign up at stillwaterok.gov/SEMA, SEMA.
Thank you. And I will remind everyone, if you haven't started to see the buzz already around downtown and throughout the community, the annual Mid-South Endurance Race is this week, March 12th through the 14th, and includes a half marathon, 50K ultra marathon, and a 50 and 100 mile bike ride. There will be road closures and heavier traffic in certain areas during the event, so please allow extra travel time and watch carefully for cyclists, runners, and pedestrians. I actually signed myself up for the half marathon. I will be one of those folks out there. So we're excited to welcome participants and visitors to Stillwater and wish all racers the very best. For a schedule of events, go to midsouthgravel.com. It's always a really exciting week here in our community when Mid-South comes. It's great to see all of our businesses full, all our restaurants full, and what an exciting thing to bring Mid-South to Block 34 this year as well. So,
And if people have not been down to the finish line and watched, it is a fabulous way to spend Saturday morning and afternoon watching people come in. It's
Yes,
a lot of fun.
very-
And they're moving the finish line this year to Block 34.
Yeah.
should be good stuff. Okay. I think, is there any other items from council? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, our city council meeting is adjourned. And I will call to order our Stillwater Utilities Authority meeting agenda. I guess up first, the consent docket. Is there any action or motion on the consent docket?
Motion to approve the consent docket.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve consent. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, the consent docket is approved, which moves us down to item 5, general orders. Possible action to authorize general counsel or outside counsel to file suit or take any action deemed necessary and appropriate by council to resolve the outstanding utility account balance of Payne County Rural Water District Number 3. This relates to our executive session. Is there any action or discussion?
I move to authorize, just as you said.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, that item is approved. Any other reports from officers or boards? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. The vote of 4-0, we are adjourned, and that ends our sessions for today.